and thanks to everybody for showing out today, and of course thank you to all the people who've signed the petition so far. I'm proud to stand here with you today on behalf of South Tyneside Green Party and to say loud and clear that we refuse to accept our health services being placed further out of reach because of this proposed alliance. It should be considered one of this nation's proudest achievements that healthcare is freely available to all. The NHS belongs to all of us and is the most effective public service we have ever created. Unfortunately, successive governments have mismanaged it and have undermined the founding principles of our NHS. Competition has poisoned the NHS and privatisation is eroding it bit by bit. According to the Department of Health's own figures, private companies pocket £18 million a day from the NHS budget. 18 million a day. It's clear that our NHS is not in safe hands and it's our duty to do everything we can to protect it. The Green Party is committed to fighting for a publicly funded, publicly provided health service, free at the point of use. We've campaigned to end the creeping privatisation of our NHS, to repeal the Health and Social Care Act of 2012, and we're committed to ensuring that all people have access to the vital health services that they deserve and need. Access to these services must be based solely on need, not on something as arbitrary as a postcode or what town we happen to live in. If this alliance is allowed to go ahead, access to vital health services will be placed further and further out of reach for people of South Tyneside. We've already seen the closure of the walk-in centre at Jarrow that many of us fought to try and save. As we've heard, the promises that were made at that time regarding better public transport links have all come to nothing. The people of Jarrow and Hebburn have found it increasingly difficult to access healthcare, and now the whole of South Tyneside is being told that we may have to travel as far as Sunderland in order to access many of our NHS services. Who will be hit the hardest? The most vulnerable in our communities. Imagine your elderly relatives, friends and neighbours having to travel to Sunderland, battling multiple bus journeys in each direction for regular care or to visit their loved ones. For those who can't afford to run a car, the only realistic option would be to use taxis. At a time when people are already having to choose between heating and eating, and the Tories are proposing to extend the bedroom tax to pensioners, retired people, is this really what we want for the people of South Tyneside? Another concern is the gradual stripping away of services, which has already seen our stroke unit close. The government is behind an NHS England plan to reduce more than 10 A&Es in the North East down to 4 or 5. This gradual erosion threatens the continued existence of South Tyneside's A&E, and along with that, it threatens all of our health. We're here on the same day as the opening of the Word, the town's new library facility. Imagine if someone you love was taken seriously ill at the library here today. They'd have to travel around 3 miles to receive emergency treatment. If that same person was taken ill once this alliance has been allowed to go ahead, they could have to travel more than 3 times that distance to Sunderland in order to receive treatment. In emergency cases, every second counts. This alliance could cost lives. According to a study published in the Emergency Medicine Journal, increased distance to A&E is associated with an increased risk of death, and an increase of 7 miles, the distance from South Shields Hospital to Sunderland, would lead to a 1% absolute increase in mortality. This alliance could cost lives. Imagine if someone you love was taken seriously ill on a day when Sunderland was playing a home match, or God forbid, on Great North Run Day. How many vital minutes could tick away as they lay on an ambulance stretcher fighting its way through traffic? Make no mistake, this alliance could cost lives. We're here today to make sure our voices are heard loud and clear, and to say that we will not allow our health, the health of our families and the health of our friends and neighbours to be put at risk in order to make it easier for some bureaucrats to balance a budget sheet. Under this government, we've seen time and time again that those at the top of the economic ladder get an easy ride. As the Tories' plan for the NHS goes ahead, we're seeing cuts in tax for the wealthiest and cuts in healthcare provision for the rest of us. This alliance is unwanted, it's unnecessary, and it's unsafe. At best, it will make it far more difficult for us to access vital services, and at worst, it could cost lives. The NHS was set up to look after the most vulnerable in our communities, and it's been a proud success. 10 years after the NHS was founded, the UK's infant mortality rate had almost halved. I, for one, want to live in a world where we continue to offer these vital services to anyone in need in a way that's accessible by all. There's a few signs today that quote Bevan's famous words: the NHS will last as long as there are folk left with the faith to fight for it. We're here today to make our voices heard loud and clear, to say that we have the faith to fight for our NHS and to fight to save South Tyneside Hospital. Thank you.